for those of you who's been following the channel for a while, you've probably seen the Sketchy Truck. This is my shop truck. It's really my daily driver when the weather is nice. It doesn't have a heater, so I don't drive it in the wintertime. Plus, I live in the salt belt, the rust belt, so I don't usually drive in the winter because I'd like it to be here next year. But you may have noticed something is missing. Here's a clue. The truck, I'm guessing, was renovated sometime in the late 70s, maybe the early 80s. Hard to tell, but it was hot rodded at some point. It had some really bizarre upgrades. Now, I know a lot of guys like that shaved look. The problem is they didn't make any provision for that. You know, like today, a lot of times when people shave door handles, they put like electric remote door locks and stuff. Yeah, this doesn't have that. You actually just have to reach in through the wing vent and unlock the door, which, I mean, it works, but, you know, you have to leave the wing vent open, and, you know, in terms of security, not real great. I got these off a donor vehicle. They're period correct. They're actual, authentic door handles that fit this truck, and I'm going to put them on today. So let's get to it. Now, if you're familiar with these trucks at all, you know that it's supposed to have these countersunk Phillips headed screws in there. And when I bought the truck had been completely dismantled. I mean, completely. Any bolt that could come off was removed. And these door panels were off, and there weren't enough screws for both doors. So I put the countersunk screws in the other door, and I just used 7/16 head regular bolts to put this side on because I thought it looked cool. So I just got to pull all those out. You can actually see the countersink here, and I just got to pull all these out, and we'll get access to the inside of the door, and that'll allow us then to start making those holes. Hopefully they're already there. Whoa, spring loaded. Jumped off there. All right, here we go. So we got that off. Now we got to get up in this area here, because this is where all the magic takes place. So first I got to get the latch off here so we can get access to the part we need to. This still has the recessed Phillips head screws. Well, 2 of the 3 anyway. And just about falls off, so here we go. Make sure the mechanism works. Yeah, works the way it's supposed to. That's good news. All right, we'll set that guy down. And now we got to figure out how to get access to everything up inside there. Let me get you in for a closer look. I'm as surprised as anybody. They actually went ahead and did it right. That's the front bolt hole, or at least that's where the bolt hole should be. That is where the bolt goes through to attach the door handle, and they actually went ahead and did it right. I don't know if you call that soldering. I don't think that's welding. I know there's a name for it, and I can't remember, but they went ahead and did it the right way. They put filler metal in there, and that would mean probably that for that back one, which I can't see from here, it's probably going to be done right too. I'm as shocked as you guys are, but that's not all bad. So what we got to do is, well, we got to either drill it out or pound it out. Well, let's try drilling it first. Try doing it right. All right, let's get the tools. All right, so I want to drill that out, but before I do, I want to set a point because this is really uneven. It may not show on screen, but I mean, it's just, you know, blobs of whatever metal they put in there. So I'm going to just tap the middle, see if we can put a little set point there. I'm not sure where that is. Oh, look, it moved on the outside. And there's a bunch of body filler in this thing. Let's see if we can get you around here to see this. Kind of skim coated the whole body with Bondo, and this just popped right there. You can kind of see that. So I think I don't know if that qualifies as a mistake on my part, but definitely it's going to cause a problem. Let's see what we can do with that. I think what I'm going to do is use a knife here and just score around that piece that's popping, keep the damage to a minimum. So I just scored that with the knife, and we might be able to just tap this right out of here. There it is. Popped her right out. Just a little slug of metal there, just a little plug. They put it in there and ground her down flat. They actually did a nice job with that. Of course, they covered it with 1/8 of an inch of Bondo afterwards for no explicable reason, but they started out right anyway. All right, so now we got to figure out how to do that back part. All right, well, I had the presence of mind that when I took off the door handle from the donor vehicle, I traced the door opening because I didn't know what I was going to encounter here. So, take off my gloves. I can actually feel what I'm doing. So what that means is somewhere back in this area here is where that other opening is going to be. And a lightning storm with a light there. I don't know what that was all about. Anyway, if we line this up and then go straight back from there, that should be about where that other opening is going to be. So if I fold this back right at that point, make a mark. It may not be exact science, but it's going to get me in the ballpark. And what that's going to allow me to do is, again, score the bodywork, because I know there's Bondo on this thing. So rather than having it pop in places I don't want, if it's going to pop, at least I can control where it pops. This has actually got a hole right through it, right there. Something like that. Let's do the same here. Now I could of course go through the trouble of cutting that out, but that makes too much sense. So we'll just continue with this little endeavor we got going on here. Oh, don't move now. Yep, right there, and something kind of like that. So it may not be exact, but it's going to be close. And what that can allow me to do then is now I can get my knife and I can score where that Bondo is. Because I really don't want to have to redo all the bodywork on it. It's decent. It's not perfect, but it's decent. So we'll go just a little bit outside of where the marks are. And like I said, this is going to control where it cracks. We know it's going to crack. So we may as well just allow for that. So kind of like lines in concrete. You're giving it split lines. You're giving it a place to control the cracking of the concrete. Well, that's what we're doing here. I know the Bondo's there. I mean, goodness, if this was not Bondo, I wouldn't be able to cut into it, that's for sure. So since I know it's there, I may as well go ahead and prepare for it. So get you up a little closer here. You can see what I did. I just scratched my outline. So now I'm going to go in behind it. We'll tap it again with the punch, and let's see what happens. Alright, so we'll go in through the push button hole here. Let's tap a little bit. Yep, there it goes. It's breaking out right there where I cut it. Let me bring you around here, show you what I did. So you can see the metal is starting to flex out, and where it is, that Bondo just popped out of there. So we're in the right place. You can see it's actually got some pinholes in it and stuff, so they just got carried away. Instead of just putting a little skim of Bondo on there, they put it on there thick. I mean, it's 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch, and the whole vehicle is kind of like that, unfortunately. But that's all right. At least we know what we're dealing with, so it's not so bad, right? As long as you know. That's kind of the point. So let's yep, just popped another piece off. Yep, it's loosening up the rest of it, so we're getting there to break where we want to, so that's the real point. Alright, well, now we just got to keep at it. Well, you can see where the brazing didn't fill it. Yeah, it's called brazing. I couldn't remember it earlier. Now I remembered it. Thanks for the help. Goodness, you guys could have typed a little fast. Well, okay, so, you know, gone back in time and typed it before I asked you. That's fine. Okay, anyway, so you can see the brazing is all splayed and kind of messed up. So, yeah, we'll just keep working at it and picking away at that, and I think we're going to get it out of there. We can definitely resort to drilling. That might be my next best bet. The problem is, from this side, I can't tell where the edges are for sure. This is a guesstimate, if you remember. So, I may end up, though, just going ahead and drilling it and doing my best to grind away the pieces that I don't think I need. But we just got to keep at it. So I drilled a hole from the back side, and I'm going to use one of my favorite tools, a step drill. This thing will go through just about anything. So now I know where the piece is. I just take it nice and slow so I can control it. Don't want to go through the door too quickly. That could be a disaster. We're getting there, but my goodness, they put in, that's almost a quarter inch of material. They brazed almost a 1/4 inch deep. Holy smokes. And then to put all that Bondo on top of it, that's just craziness. Make sure we're still where we want. That's about all I'm gonna get before I start getting into stuff I don't want, I think. If I can go one more yet. That's it. That's as far as it's going to go, because I'm hitting the metal on the back side, and I don't want to go drilling a big hole in the back side of the door. But that's got it pretty good. It's a good start, but boy, there's a lot of metal to take off of this yet. All right. All right, so I got the door handle on there. Now I just got to tighten her down, and that's easier said than done. There is no room inside this door. At least not if you got hands the size of salami. Goodness. There are times when being 6'4" is a real advantage, and then there's times when it's not. This falls in the second category. Get that crank down here. There's just no room to operate in there. I've got, thankfully, this little ratchet-headed wrench that actually fits into the door, because a regular ratchet would not. And if I was doing this with a regular wrench, I'd be at it for days. I can get this other one, the front end of the handle, that's not too bad, but boy, that other one, that was a booger. All right, so the way this works, get some light up here. When you push the button, a little trigger comes through, and that actuates the mechanism, actuates the locking mechanism. So next thing we got to do is get the locking mechanism back up in here, which isn't too complicated. Just bring this back up here, make sure all the mechanisms where it's supposed to be. There we go. And get our holes lined up. Screw number 1, screw number 2. There we go. All right, so when the door closes, that locks, and then this, nice. So latched, popped, latched, push the button, popped. Beautiful. All right, let's give it a try. Closed. Haha, love it. All right, let's lock it. Now there's a little bit of a trick to getting that key to work in there. But she's locked, and then unlocked. Nice. Tell you what, after 3 years of getting in through the window, this is a major improvement. My wife might actually ride with me once in a while now. That's not fair. She always rode with me. She always just waited for me to open the door for her. Which I guess is the gentlemanly thing to do. I wonder if I should still open the door for her. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Anyway, that's how I go about doing it. Now I suppose it's worth arguing that, you know, you could take all that Bondo off there and just put it up against the sheet metal. And that is true, but I also didn't know the condition of the sheet metal underneath the Bondo. The Bondo's already there. It's already painted. So I just went with what was there. All right. So one more thing to check off the list. The only thing is, I got both those door panels off. I think we're going to need to paint those before we put them back in. Because right now they're yellow, which matches the outside of the truck, but you see the inside of the truck is mostly red. So I think a red door panel would really go nice. So yeah, that's what's going to happen. We're about to be painting those guys red. right, well, I want to get this back together again. It is the next day, and the paint's had time to dry. I've got a collection of bolts and screws here. I think what I'm going to do is put screws on the top row and then put the bolts on the bottom row on both sides. I think that'll work well. All right, let's get this side opened up. You can see that I did go ahead and do the passenger side as well. Now this vehicle is equipped with a special anti-theft device. Not everybody knows it. So in order to open the door, I mean that unlatches the door, but in order to open the door, you're going to apply force right there. No, seriously, it's intentional, I promise. All right, so let's get this panel into the door. So here's the door panel. You can see it matches the color of the interior really well. So we go over the end of the door and then just drop everything else in place. Let's get a few of these guys started here. Keep it from falling off. And just get everything started. We'll get them snugged up once they're all in. I don't want to put them all the way in because then if something's not quite aligned, you got to loosen them back up again. It just doesn't make sense to do it that way. So now we just got to tighten them all up and we're good to go. That is quite a color difference between the yellow and the red, but I'm also using artificial lighting. It's probably going to look better in the daylight. And actually, you look to the interior, like I said, the colors match. So I like the interior. I think it's going to look good once it's all together. All right, let's go ahead and get this stuff tightened up. Okay. Yeah. Window runners are definitely in this thing's future. But there we go. We're ready to rock and roll. Just a real quick trick, and maybe you've already thought of this. This is just a piece of packing foam. And it's a really great way to store nuts and bolts for painting. And it works good with just about anything. There's a cool pattern behind too, which is kind of nice. But that way, everything gets well coated, everything stays in its place, so you don't lose any of them. And all the heads are completely painted, and most importantly, none of the threads end up painted. Perfect. Let's roll. Perfect. Looks good. All right, get those door handles on and we are good to go. All right, ready to go. Perfect. Well, if you haven't figured it out by now, you certainly don't have to be perfect to do any of this stuff. And you know, not everything that I try do I get right in the first time, and neither will you. You know, there's lots of great videos out there, whether you're watching mine or there's lots of other great channels. I love Vice Grip Garage, DeBoss Garage. I like Junkyard Digs. There's lots of great channels out there to check out. But you can learn from lots of people. You can certainly learn from your own mistakes as well. That tends to take longer. But get out, turn a wrench. And it's worth it because you're worth learning something new. And, you know, go out and chase your dream. What vehicle are you hoping to get? Get a hold of something. Even if it's old and ratty, get a hold of it and start working on it because it's the only way you're going to learn. And you don't have to try and tackle it all in one day. Do a little bit each evening. Do a little bit each day. Do a little bit each weekend. Whenever you have time. And just pick away at it. And you'll get it done eventually. But get out there, get it running, get it on the road. Be proud of what you made. And don't worry about what other people say because you're not building it for them. You're building it for you. And you're worth it. Hey, you guys have a great day. God bless. Take care. Bye.